I start before I'm actually ready. Oh,
It's study some of the teachings of Jesus Christ and focus basically on, and that is he is the one who instructed us on the way. You know, I really am not interested in what Mr. Falwell has to say or what Mr. Oral has to say. I'm not interested in those people. I am interested, and I'm trying to get you interested in what Jesus
why would
Christ
you
has
do
to say,
that?
because what Jesus Christ has
Why
to
would
say
you
is
leave like that?
diametrically opposed to what they have to say.
No, but what even happened?
But in this particular case, Jesus is talking
Come
to us
on,
in
Joel.
John chapter 14 on page
Don't be so
880
scared, my queen.
in those little Bibles. In John chapter 14, and Jesus is talking about the way, and he says in John chapter 14:4, and where I go, you know, and the way you know. Now, I would ask those who claim to be followers of the Lord, born again, he says that you know the way. Do you know the way? He says you know the way. He didn't say you should know the way. He said you know the way. He taught the way. And this is the difference. Jesus then, since he taught the way, would think that some people would have caught on to the way. And that's the point he's making here. You know the way because you've been hanging around me. You know the way because you've listened to me. And you who have claimed to have studied the Bible should know the way because they got Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and he talks about the way throughout the entire Bible. So what does he say is the way? First of all, go to page. Now, we're going to run through some of the things that you've seen before, but once again, it's important that you document everything, you know? And I'll repeat because it's a new crowd on the television. It is Easter. It is a day of pornographic sex, and that's our holy day. We're going to celebrate it. Feel it. Is this great?
Disconnected. Am I still
Because why?
streaming?
Can't deal with Passover. Why not? Fellas, Jewish. Can't have anything Jewish. So they take the whole thing, and then you have a religious minister who changes the guy's name from a Jew Jeheshua to a Greek Jesus, takes Passover out and replaces it with Easter bunnies and jelly beans, and then quotes the book of Leviticus. Is this a hypocrite? Come on. So Jesus says, what is the way? Go to page 782. We'll do our Bible trip real quick. Matthew chapter 7 and verse 14.
Yeah, that was off. Wow.
Chapter 7, verse 14. What's the first thing Jesus says? The straight is the gate, and narrow is the way, and few there are who find it. How true that is.
Oh man,
Because when you have found it,
I can't beat my own
Christian,
game.
you are considered a cult. See, that's what happens. Now, the way to what? The way to the kingdom. Okay? The way to the kingdom. This is what we want to
Get
find.
the arrow. The
Okay,
arrow
real
just
quick,
means they're
page
close enough. I
853, and I
think
know that a
point
lot
oh
of you have
three
beat
is
this
the
time and
threshold I
again,
set,
but still, it's important to see it. That's what we're doing. We're exercising it through the Bible and through
but
Jesus Christ's
0
teachings, which are so important for
is
our lives.
the
He says in Luke
goal.
17,
5,
verse
6.
21, the kingdom is in you. But narrow is the way. Few there are who find out that the kingdom is inside of themselves. I'm not quoting a religious teacher or an evangelist. I'm quoting Jesus Christ or Jeshua. How can you change it? I mean,
So I think
do you
to
know what
set
a lie becomes the truth, Alvin? If
standards,
it's situated long enough, we all call him Jesus.
maybe we give it 20 tries per day. If you don't get it, move on. I mean, I guess you can compete with friends and stuff because see who gets closest to 0. That's the game. Pause the animations and turn that down. Just have a clear body where I don't have to clear my throat before I speak. But until then, Solomon's speech upon completion of the work. Then the king turned around and blessed the whole assembly of Israel, while all the assembly of Israel was standing. And he said, Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, who has fulfilled with his hands what he spoke with his mouth to my father David, saying, Since the day that I brought my people out of the land of Egypt, I have chosen no city from any tribe of Israel in which to build a house, that my name might be there, nor did I choose any man to be a ruler over my people Israel. Yet I have chosen Jerusalem, that my name may be there. And I have chosen David to be over my people Israel. Now it was in the heart of my father David to build a temple for the name of the Lord God of Israel. But the Lord said to my father David, Whereas it was in your heart to build a temple for my name, you did well in that it was in your heart. Nevertheless, you shall not build the temple, but your son, who will come from your body, he shall build the temple for my name. So the Lord has fulfilled his word which he spoke, and I have filled the position of my father David to sit on the throne of Israel, as the Lord promised, and I have built the temple for the name of the Lord God of Israel. And there I have put the ark, in which is the covenant of the Lord, which he made with the children of Israel. Solomon's prayer of dedication. Then Solomon stood before the altar of the Lord in the presence of all the assembly of Israel, and spoke out of his hands. For Solomon had made a bronze platform, 5 cubits long, 5 cubits wide, and 3 cubits high, and had set it in the midst of the court. And he stood on it, knelt down on his knees before all the assembly of Israel, and spread out his hands towards heaven. And he said, Lord God of Israel, there is no God in heaven or on earth like you, who keep your covenant and mercy with your servants who walk before you with all their hearts. You have kept what you promised your servant David, my father. You have both spoken with your mouth and fulfilled it with your hand, as it is to this day. Therefore, Lord God of Israel, now keep what you have promised your servant David, my father, saying, You shall not fail to have a man sit before me on the throne of Israel. You shall not fail to have a man sit before me on the throne of Israel. Only if your sons take heed to their way, that they walk in my laws as you have walked before me. And now, O Lord God of Israel, let your word come true, which you have spoken to your servant David. But will God indeed dwell with men on the earth? Behold, heaven and the heaven of heavens cannot contain you. How much less this temple, which I have built? Yet regard the prayer of your servant and his supplication, O Lord my God, and listen to the cry and the prayer which your servant is praying before you. that your eyes may be open towards this temple day and night, toward the place where you, and you towards the place where you said you would put your name, and you may hear the prayer which your servant makes towards this place. And may you hear the supplications of your servant and of your people Israel, where they pray towards this place. Hear from heaven, your dwelling place, and when you hear, forgive. If anyone sins against his neighbor and is forced to take an oath, and comes and takes an oath before your altar in this temple, then hear from heaven, and act, and judge your servants, bringing retribution on the wicked by bringing his way on his own head, and justifying the righteous by giving him according to his righteousness. Or if your people, Israel, are defeated for an enemy because they have sinned against you, and return and confess your name, and pray and make supplication before you in this temple, then hear from heaven and forgive the sin of your people Israel, and bring them back to the land which you gave them and their fathers. When the heavens are shut up and there's no rain because you have sinned,